Good evening, everyone. So, in our previous class, that is day 11, we are going to discuss about built-in functions in Python. So, now it is a day 12. So, it is a day 12 actually. So, in this day 12, we'll go and discuss about commonly used modules in Python and how to create a function in Python and difference between return statement and void statement and what is the scope and lifetime of a variable. So these are the topics I covered in this day 12. So is my voice is audible? So is my voice is audible to you? So please share. Is my voice is audible to you and my presentation is visible to you? Okay, we'll see today about commonly used modules in Python. So commonly used modules in Python. So first of all, what is a module? So module is a file and it contains Python definitions and statements. So module is a file and it contains Python functions, defining a functions, classes and variables. So, and also the module also contains runnable code. So module is a file and it contains Python definitions, classes and variables. So and also the module contains runnable code. So in this example, so my module name is called calc.py. So calc.py. So that is my module name. So under this module name, I am going to defining a functions, that is a add function and a subtract function. So I'm going to define a add function and a subtract function in this my model calc model. So now I'm going to use this model in my current running of the program. So by using a import keyword. So by using a import keyword, you have to include that module in our current running of the program. So how to import that module in our current running of the program? So by using a syntax, so import and followed by module name. So like I say in Java, you have to import some different types of packages which will be used in the Java programming, like import followed by package name star like that. You are going to import the packages in Java. So whereas in Python you have to use the import keyword and followed by module. You have to import the that module in our current running of the program. So in this example, so my module name is called calc.py. So now I am going to import that file in my current running of the program. So that is the import and followed by calc. So here calc is a module. So calc is a module and it contains some runnable code, that is it contains add function and a subtract function. So now I'm going to accessing a add method in a calc module. Then I will be use calc dot operator and followed by add. So add method and followed by I'm passing two values, that is a 10 comma 2. So then it will go to perform adding of these two numbers. Then I want it will go to return the 12. So module in Python, module is a file. So it is a file and it contain runnable code, or it contain a function, Python function definitions, classes and variables. So in this example, my module name is called calc. So on that module, I'm going to write the I'm going to define the functions add method and subtract method. So now I'm going to access these add method and subtract method in my current running of the program by importing a module, that is a calc, and by using that calc module and followed by dot operator, I am going to access the method which will be available in the calc module. So then I will get the output of this addition. And second one is from import statements. So in this example, for example, if you want import specific attributes from a model, so without importing the model as a whole. So for example, if you don't want to import everything in our current running of the program, so you want to import a specific functions or a specific attributes in a from the model. So then you have to use a statement from. So by using a from, you have to import a specific methods or specific functions in the model. So for example, by using a statement from, so from math model, so math is a model, and I'm going to import and sqrt and factorial. So I'm going to import two functions or attributes, that is sqrt and factorial. So from math model. So from math model, I want import sqrt and factorial. So then I will be use sqrt followed by 16 and factorial followed by 6. So by using these methods, by using these attributes, I'm going to perform some particular operation. So by using a from, so by using a from keyword, you have to import a specific attributes from a model. So without importing everything in our current running of the program, so you have to import only a specific attributes from the model. So for that you have to use a from keyword. I hope you will be understanding what I am saying, and if you have any doubts, please chat box. So please post your query in the chat box if you have any doubts. So let me continue. So next one is import all names. So for example, as I said that in Java, if you want to import every packages in the package, you have to use a star operator. So by using a star operator, you have to import everything in the package in Java. So like import followed by package name and followed by star. So by using that statement, you have to import the packages in Java. So whereas in Python, you have to use a star. You have to use a star symbol, which will be import statements, which will be used to import all the names from a model to a current running of the program. So by using a star, you have to import all the names from a model to a current running of the program. So as I said that in Java, you have to import packages like a star, and similarly, whereas in Python, if you want to import everything from that package or from that module, then you have to use a star operator. So the statement will be right like this. So from math, import star. So I want to import everything from the from math model. So I'm going to import everything from the math model. So that means everything is nothing but I want to import function definitions, classes, variables, and so on. So by using a star operator, I will be import everything from this math model. So whereas in a previous slide, so it will go to import a particular attributes in a model. So by using a from keyword, you have to import a specific or a particular attributes from a model. So whereas in this slide, I'm going to use a star for importing everything from the model. So by using a statement from, so from model name, so the model name is a math, import star. So star is indicate that it will go to import all the names. So all the names are all the variables or all the function definitions which are available in the math model, which we will going to import in our current running of the program. So among these all, I will be use only sqrt and factorial functions only. So by using a star, you have to import import all the names into in our current running of the program. So next one is the locating model. So Python interpreter search for the model in the following manner. So where the modules will be available in our current running of the uh, Python. So where the module will be available in our system or in our computers. So for that, the Python which will go to search for the module in the following manner. So first one is the Python which will go searching in the current directory. So the module where the module will be available in our current system or current running of the code or current, in our computers. So first the interpreter is going searching for the module in current directory. So for example, if that module does not found in the current directory, so then it will be searching in the shell variable, that is a Python path. So on that Python path which will go to searching the model in our current in our computers. So for example, if that also fail, so then the interpreter is going to searching for the Python installation. At the time of installation of Python, so that will be called as a dependencies depending independent list directories are configured files which will go into searching. So it will go on searching in three locations. So one is called in current directory, and second one is called in a Python path, and the third one is called installation dependencies, like configure the files at the time of Python is installed. So these three places the interpreter is called searching for the module from your computers. So that is called locating modules. So for example, I will be searching for a module in my computers by using a statement. So import and followed by system. So SYS stands for system. So that means in my entire operating system, which will go on searching for a particular module in the current directory or in Python path or in function installation dependencies. So by using a printf sys.path, so then it will go into searching everything from my computers, so which are available in my operating system at the time of installation of a Python. So it will go on searching modules in the from my computers. So that is called locating models. So by using a the Python interpreter is going searching for in current directory or Python path, or it will be searching in configured at the time of Python is installed. So here SYS stands for system, which will go on searching a particular model in the entire operating system. So that is about locating a module. So if you have any doubts, please post your query in the chat box. And next one is importing and renaming modules. So renaming a module. So how will going to rename a module? So by using a as keyword. So as is a alias name. So by using as keyword, you have to renaming a module, or you have to alias. I mean, it is the original name, it will be as is, but it will be called as a some alias name. So as keyword, by using as keyword, you have to rename the module. So how will going to rename the module? For example, import math. So it is a existing module. So now I'm going to reassign or renaming as a GFG. So by using a as keyword. So by using a as keyword, you have to import, you have to rename a existing module to your own name. So in this example, I'm going to rename the math module as a GFG. So then I will be use instead of I'm using a math.sqrt, I will be use GFG. So GFG is nothing but math module only. So gfg.sqrt and gfg.factorial. So by using a as keyword, you have to rename the models. So that is about importing and renaming a module in Python. So up to now, any doubts? Now, any doubts? So if you have any doubts, please post your query in the chat box. Okay, I will continue. So next, a directory function. So what is a directory function? So it is a dir function. So by using a dir function or a directory function, it will go to list contain names of all modules and variables and functions that are defined in a module. So by using a dir function, it will going to list out all the modules or all the variables or all the function definitions which are defined in the module, that all modules which will be displayed in the form of a in sorted order, like from A to Z. So A to Z it will going to display. So in this output it contain different types of classes or different types of variables and different types of function definitions. So by using a dir function, it will going to display all the modules, variables and functions that are defined in a module. So for example, my module name is called random. My module name is called random and followed by print dir followed by random. So then this dir function which will going to list what are the variables in the random or what are the functions in the random module, which will going to list out in a sorted order. So in a sorted order which will going to list out from A to Z. So that is about a dir function. And next one is creating a function. So how we'll going to create a function in Python? So as I said that in at the time of discussing about keywords in Python, so by using a def keyword, you have to define the function in Python. So that is called, you have to define the function in Python. So the defined function is called as a called function. So for example, here I'm using a keyword define. So def and followed by function name and followed by some parameters and followed by colon and followed by some body of the function. So this will be called as a defining a function or called function, and this can be I'm using a return followed by expression. So return followed by expression. So here the function definition contain return statements. So the called function or the function definition contain return statements. So that if you use a return statement, then it will be written to the calling function. So this is a called function. So I'm going to defining a function by using a def keyword. So let us see the example here. And what is a calling function here? So this is a function definition or called function. So this is a function definition or called function. In this function definition, the function name is hello underscore world, and the keyword is a def keyword. So by using a def keyword, you have to define the function. So this is called as a called function in Python, and I want to print the block statement is hello world. So it is a called function or function definition. And what about in calling function? So the calling function is hello underscore world, and it does not have any colons here. So it is called as a calling function in Python. So whenever the calling function is going to calling the function, then it will goes to the function definition and it will going to execute the hello world, and the value will be returned back to the calling function. So that's why the difference between a calling and a called function is that, for example, let us take a called function. So the called function, you have to define the function. That means the function contain body of the loop. It contain body of the loop. So and also the called function contain return statements. You have to use a return keyword for returning the result to the calling function. So that is the difference here. Called function. The called function contain body of the loop, and the called function contain return statements. So whereas in a calling function, it does not have any body. So the calling function does not have any body, and it does not have any return statements. So simply in this example, hello world is a calling function, and it does not have any body and it does not have any return statements, and whereas hello underscore world, it is a called function or function definition, under this function definition, I want to print hello world. And also we can also use return statements in this function definition or called function, so that the value will be sent back to the calling function. And also you have to remember that, so one important point that is called, you have to use the calling function after the function definition. You have to write the calling function after defining the function definition. So that is an important point. For example, if you use calling function before the function definition, then it will go and produce the error. It will go and produce the error. So in Python, first you have to define the function, and after that you have to use a calling function. If you reverse this, first you can call the function and after that you have to define the function, then it will go and produce the error in Python. So that is a point you have to remember here. So while using a functions in Python, first you have to define the function and after that you have to call the function. If you do any modifications, it will be going to produce the error. So that is the difference here, called function and calling function. I hope you'll be understanding what I'm saying. Any doubts up to now? So any doubts up to now? So if you have any doubts, please post your doubts in the chat box. I hope you'll be understanding what I am saying. So the call function contains body of the loop. Our function definition contains body of the loop, and also it contains return statements. Whereas in a calling function, it does not have any body of the loop and it does not have any return statements. So that is the difference between a calling function and a called function in Python. And also one of the important point you have to keep it in mind. So the first you have to define the function. You have to call the function. After that you have to use a calling function. Otherwise, if you write the calling function first and after that if you define the function, then it will go and produce the error. So that's why while using these functions in Python, you have to take care of for writing of a called and calling functions. So next one is a return statement and void function. So as I said that the return statements is used to return the resultants to the calling function. So what are the resultant values will be there in the call function? That values will be sent back to the calling function. So that means it will return the results of the function. So the return statement returns the results of the function. I hope you'll be understanding what I am saying. So the return, where you can use the return statements. So in called function or function definition, you have to use the return statements or return keywords. So let us see the example here. So in this example, I am using a return statements. So for example, the function definition or the called function is def. By using a def keyword, you have to define the function. So the function name is a sum colon, and it contains body a equal to 10, b equal to 20, c is equal to a plus b, and return c. So I am using a keyword return and followed by c. So then the result will be returned to the calling function. So where is calling function here? So this is a calling function. So then it will go and print the sum is and followed by calling function. So what is the return value which will be written by the called function or function definition? So that is equal to 30. So the 30 will be displayed here. So the sum is and followed by sum. So the sum of a plus b is 30. So the return statement is used for to return the results to the calling function. So for that you have to use a return statements in a called function or function definition. And one more thing here. So for example, if you don't use the return statements in a called function or function definition, then what happened? So in this example, I'm not using a return statement here. I'm not writing return keyword in a function definition or a called function. So then what happened? So the resultant value of c does not send it back to the sum. If the value does not send it back to the calling function, then what happened? It is not going to display anything. So it will simply display as a it will be displayed as a none. So here none is a keyword. So it will none is indicate that none does not indicate that 0. None does not indicate as a 0 or 1 or some other value. So none is nothing but simply it is a null value. So but none does not indicate as a 0 or 1 or true and so on. So it will be display nothing. So none is nothing but none nothing. So why? Because you are not using a return statement here. So that the called function or function definition that does not return the value of C to the calling function. So that's why it has not going to print anything. So whereas in previous slide, so I'm using a return C. So that's why the resultant value of C, which will be sent it back to the calling function, and it will go and produce the sum of A plus B. So that is a 30. So whereas in this example, I'm not going to use return statements. So if you are not going to use a return statement in a call function, so then the result value cannot be sent it back to the calling function. So that's why it will return the output. It will produce the output is none. So that is about creating a function without return statements. And next one is a void function. So what is a void indicates? So in C or C++ and Java, void is indicate that nothing. So like null value. So it is a null empty data type. So for example, in a C programming, you are using a void in a different places. So that is a void and followed by main. So void and followed by main function. So what is the meaning of this void followed by main? So in C program, you are using like this void followed by main and followed by body of the function. So in this example, void indicate that the function does not return any value. So that is the meaning for void here. For example, if you pass the void inside the function, for example, you pass the void as a argument. As an argument, you are passing void. So if you are passing a void as an argument to the main function, so the meaning is that so the main function does not return or does not take any arguments or does not take any parameters. So that is the meaning for if you use the void inside the main function. If you use void before the main function, the meaning is that the main function does not return any value. So that is the meaning for void. So whereas in Python, so the void define the null value. So whereas in Python, none is a keyword is used to define the null value. And also you have to remember that none keyword does not indicate as a 0, false or any empty data types. So none does not indicate as a 0 or false or any empty data type. So it will be simply a null value. So it will be simply as a null value. So that is about a void function in Python or none function in Python. So are you clear so far what I have discussed up to now? If you have any doubts, please post your query in the chat box. So if you have any doubts, please post your query in the chat box. So let us say the next one, scope and the lifetime of a variable. So what is the scope and lifetime? So what is the scope here? Scope is nothing but visibility of variables. How much time the variables will be in active position. So that is called scope. Scope is nothing but visibility of variables. And what about lifetime? So lifetime is nothing but duration. So duration, which variable is exist. So duration of the variable or how long the variable can be alive in the program. So that is called as a lifetime. So scope and a lifetime. So in Python, not only Python, C programming or other programming language also, you have to use two types of variables like local variables and global variables. So what is the local variables? So in for example in C you are using a open and closing curly brackets. So in between you have to write the variables like int a is equal to 10. So int a is equal to 10. So here the lifetime or the scope of the variables will be within the block only. So within the block only. So after completion of this block, it will be entered into next line. So the lifetime of variable will be expire. So that is called local variables. So declare the variables inside the function. So then the variables is called as a local variables. So the lifetime of local variables will be within the block only. So within the block, the variables can be active. So if the block will be come out the next line, then the lifetime of variables will be expire. So what about in global variables? If it is a global variables, you have to declare the variables outside the function. So for example, I want to declare the variables outside of the function. So then the variable is called as a global variables. So if you declare the variable outside the function, then what happened? So the lifetime of the variable will be alive entire program execution. So whenever the program execution is completed, then only the lifetime of variable will be expire. So whereas in local variable, the lifetime will be within the block only. So if the interpreter or cursor will be goes to the next line, so the lifetime of variable will be expire. So whereas in a global variable, you have to declare the variables outside the function. So then the variable is called as a global variables, and the lifetime of these variables will be alive. The variables will be alive entire the program execution. And for example, in C language, I want to access a global variable inside the local variables. So it is not possible in C language. For example, I want access a global variable. Let us take b is equal 20. So int b is equal 20. Now I want to use this b value inside of my as a local variable. So it is not possible in C programming. So whereas in Python, it will be possible. You can access outside the data within the local within the block also by using a keyword, global keyword. So by using a global keyword, you have to access the outside the data within the function. So then the variable is called as a global variable. So in this example, the x value will be access the value of 101. So instead of using a local value, so the value will be taken from outside the function. So if you use a outside the data inside the function as a local variable, then you have to use a global keyword. So in this example, I want to access outside the data. That's why I'm using a global keyword, so that it will be possible to access outside the data inside the function. So whereas in other programming language, it is not possible. Like a C programming, it is not possible. So that is about a global variables in Python. So if you have any doubts, so next one is arguments in functions. So as I said that if you pass the arguments inside the function as a argument or as a parameter, so then the variables is called as a arguments in function or parameters in function. So for example, in this example, I am passing a argument or parameter is name. So I'm going to passing this name in within the open and closing parenthesis, and it is a function name. So function name inside of this function, I'm passing a parameter argument is called as a name. Then I will be define the function print hi comma name, and this is a calling function. At the time of calling function, I'm passing the value of that name. So the value of that name will be substituted, and which will going to print here. So then it is going to print hi followed by Devansh. So it is possible you can pass the arguments inside the function, or you can pass the parameters inside the function in Python also. So this is another example. So in this example, I am passing a two variables here, or two arguments, or two parameters, that is a comma b, and I want to perform return a plus b. Then I want to get the a value from the keyboard by using a input function, and I want to get the b value from the keyboard by using input function. After getting a and b, then I want to perform sum is equal to comma followed by sum of a comma b. So then the value of a plus b, so it will be written to this calling function. Then it will go and print sum is equal to 30. So whatever the value you are going to read from the keyboard, that value will be substituted in the parameter like a and b. Then it will go and perform a plus b, that value will be returned back to the calling function. Then it will go and perform sum of a comma b, so that is equal to 30. So that is called arguments in functions. So up to now, if you have any doubts, please post your query in the chat box. So in the next class, I will discuss about call by reference and call by value in Python. So I will going to use a call by value and a call by reference in Python, and after that I want to discuss about different types of arguments in Python. So up to now, if you have any doubts, so please post your query in the chat box. So that's all about today's session. And if you have any doubts, please post your query in the chat box. And if you don't have any doubts, so that's all about today's class, and we will go and meet in the next session. So thank you for attending. It is a day 12, and we will going to meet in the day 13. So thank you.